Gentlemen, we must come up with a new show, but cutting costs by adding stock footage. Why yes, I am that brilliant.
They're mighty, they're morphing, overbearing teenagers with attitude apparently. Hi, I'm Mike Dane, the fanboy, crawling into my subcultural semi-corner to view Power Rangers. Created in the early 90s by Saban Studios, it was a live-action show aimed for kids, inspired by earlier similar attempts and spinning off into other media, going on for nigh a decade in various forms, of which I only watched the first season or so, having kinda outgrown the others and finding them too confusing and silly, which is a rather weird thing to say in this context, I realize. But that's why I'll only talk about this one, which still had about 60 episodes. I mean, I don't know about you, but I prefer my Power Rangers the way I do my Transformers. Generation 1, baby. Like I've implied in the intro, it used stock footage from another show for the fight scenes, which incidentally they later did specifically for this particular show, mixed with original material for the beginning of each episode. It was about a group of superpowered teens who fought another group consisting of aliens and their monsters using techniques based loosely on martial arts and guys in rubber suits. Yeah, they were the next generation ninja teens. Even crossed over with the turtles once apparently, while the show were also mixing in some good themes and messages for the audience. Each of the teens got assigned their own colored power suit and robot dinosaur called Swords. Never mind whether or not those dinosaurs were actually from the same time period. Now, I'll get back to this a bit more later on, but the suit colors, or rather distribution thereof, have caused a bit of controversy. And here's hoping I won't stir up another by saying this, but it kinda always made sense to me. Look, it was a slightly different time when I was just a kid, okay? So a floating head in a tube called Zordon and his robot assistant Alpha 5 finds a bunch of local high school kids and imbues them with superpowers to use against his old enemy, the witch Rita Repulsa and her motley crew. Goldar, the right-hand man, whose name sounds Eternian, Finster the inventor, along with Squadron Babu, the bebop and rocksteady of this show. Later joined by Lord Zed. Like I said, a slightly different time. Each episode had a pretty simple and formulaic premise. We would see the kids doing their thing in the town of Angel Grove, then Rita would send her basic minions, the Potty Patrol, they'd go fight in their civilian clothing, then she'd create a monster, causing them to power up as it were. Then she'd throw down her wand, making her monster grow bigger. They'd call upon the swords, together forming the Megazord, fight some more, and that'd be it. Maybe I make it sound boring, but it was pretty awesome. While I mainly preferred cartoons back then, this was already pretty cartoony, as you can probably tell, like a high-octane adrenaline rush. What's not to like about it? Oh, and the monster would almost always have some sort of gimmick, which would work for both the toy and the theme of the plot. As for the Rangers themselves, well, while they were rather stereotypical and a natural fit for a Benetton ad, they were interesting enough to follow. Jason, the Red Ranger, the leader, Billy the Blue One was the geek, the main girl Kimberly was pink, the other two were Zack the cool and black, and Trini the yellow. Yeah, again, like I said, a bit of controversy, and sorry, but there weren't much else to them. A bit later on, they were joined by Tommy the Green, or even later on, White Ranger. Everybody had their favorite, and while I'd probably like to be the black one, I guess I'd have to sort of settle for being blue. And oh, how I just like Kimberly. All of them flipping, shouting, and posing everywhere. But I guess that's just what Heroes does, right? And since they couldn't just drive the swords to school or supermarket, they also had their own little private buggy car, which I want to see a callback to in the next movie. And of course, they all learned a valuable life lesson in each episode, despite everything almost always going back to the status quo for/by the next episode. Obviously, I'd also have to mention the other three non-Rangers. Bulk and Skull, the so-called bullies, who'd always get their comeuppance at the end of each episode, if not sooner. Did they ever fight Squadron Babu? If not, why not? And at last, Ernie, the cheerful owner of the kids' favorite hangout, the local gym/youth center. And will you take a look at this place? The gorgeous 90s. Did such a place ever really exist? Where? 'Cause I'd sure like to go there. When they weren't doing their homework, working out or enjoying a meal here, they'd volunteer for like charity work or try to raise awareness for the environment or go off to do some extreme sports thing. Again, 90s, but not really much of an attitude, is it? There were a bit of internal dating, but not too much on an action show for little kids. I really liked this show and even the first movie, in a sort of cheesy retro way like Space Jam, but didn't watch the sequel. I even liked the new movie, which I checked out for the sake of curiosity. Yeah, maybe not the best designs, it was a bit long-winded, and while they switched around a bit with the names, colors, and character cliches, at least they did have more of an attitude. And yeah, product placement. They even brought back Bryan Cranston, who used to work on the show back in the day, voicing some of the monsters, which is also why the character Billy were originally named after him. And while I like that fan film, I'm glad they didn't go quite that dark here. Would have liked a bit more of the lore, but I can understand they'd want to focus on the characters first, and maybe we'll get it in a sequel. But whatever, it was pretty good. So no, these weren't quite your typical teens, but more like an idea of them, or what these should be. Yeah, role models, but not in a too lame way. At least I don't think so. And going back to my own earlier question of that place, thinking about it, yeah, I've sorta had places like that. Even to this day, with churches and assembly halls left empty, some others have started to sprout up. Only less 90s, obviously. We might not have to be Rangers exactly, but who knows? Maybe we can all go find the power within ourselves to be more phenomenal.
It's just a shame that there are no shows like this one on anymore. Nope, none at all.